Welcome to the Literally First Class podcast, where I will teach you how to overcome anxiety and achieve somatic success. I'm your host, Keri Ford. I'm a somatic success and holistic life coach here to bring humor, insight, and wisdom to the modern day woman that wants to feel alive in her daily life. You ready? Come on, I saved you a seat in first class. Are you guys ready for this episode? I have so much exciting news to share with you, and this has arguably been in the works for about a decade, if I'm being honest. So, story time. I need to give you some context about what the fuck I'm even talking about. And to be honest with you, this is my second take at even trying to record this because I'm so excited about it. And I also was thinking, I hope I remember everything that I want to share in this episode. So this episode is about how the brand partner Cenegenics and I finally came together. Okay, rewind. I'm in 5th grade. We're doing a lot of context setting. I'm in 5th grade and I meet someone named Rudy Inaba. He is tall, he is half Asian, and he is quiet but funny. And he and I became fast friends. We continued to stay friends and became even closer in high school, where he became one of my best guy friends. And then we went off to college. I think he came to visit me at University of Delaware with another friend of ours, Frank. And we had some other friends, of course, that we went to high school with that went there too. And we just stayed in touch through all those years. And as he went to college, he met this woman that he was ranting and raving about, and I was so excited for him. And he ended up moving to Las Vegas and marrying her. And now I don't know exactly the order of things. We've continued to stay in touch over the years, but very intermittently as life tends to get busy, especially with distance and career and all the things. But I knew that he had joined this company and that he was doing really well and that he loved it. I didn't know much about the company other than it was something in healthcare, which made total sense for Rudy because he went through his own personal transformation in high school where he reclaimed his own health back and started to get educated on what works, what doesn't, and that's what he ended up focusing on in college. So super excited for him. It sounded like he found this perfect career, perfect job. And I moved to Atlanta. In the meantime, I had been in New York. I had been in Los Angeles. I also was in the healthcare space for a bit. And I still consider myself to be in the healthcare space because I focus on holistic leadership. Although it looked a little bit different a few years ago, I was focused on intuitive eating with emphasis on my background as a personal trainer, a nutritionist, and a behavior change specialist. So when Rudy and the team, this company called Cenegenics, were looking for health coaches for Cenegenics here at the Atlanta Center back in 2000 and when was that? I think it was 2013. He, of course, thought of me and it wasn't on my radar. Like I said, I knew a little bit about the company. I, of course, know Rudy and I'm like, I know this job is perfect for him, but that's as much as I know. So he calls me and he says, hey, I think I've got the perfect job for you. And I want to know if you would be open to interviewing for the role of health coach at Cenegenics. You would handle all of our patient care in the Atlanta Center. And I'm like, I'm open to hearing about it. Tell me more. So he shares with me more about Cenegenics. It's like, age management. It is healthcare services for very successful people, concierge, alternative, holistic healthcare. And I'm like, this sounds really cool and very aligned to the direction that I'm headed and really what I'm passionate about. And so I interview, and I'll get to more about that in a second, but I interview with the CEO, I interview with the other team members, and it feels like a fit. It's like absolutely a fit. And so I fly out to Vegas. I see Rudy in person for the first time in years. He facilitates some of my training along with the team over at Cenegenics in Vegas at headquarters. And they get me up to speed on all of this amazing technology that they're using in healthcare to help people better manage aging, right? To redefine the aging process and also to get their health back, because as we age, there are certain factors, of course, that play into our overall well-being, right? Like naturally we decrease levels of testosterone. Naturally, our bone mineral density can decrease, and we have an increased risk of osteopenia and osteoporosis, and specifically in the hips and the lower back. And I'll get into more of the specifics because you can tell I'm very excited about it, but that is what they specialize in. So I fly out to Vegas, they train me up at headquarters, they fly me back to Atlanta, and I dive in. As I'm in the Atlanta headquarters, the CEO of Cenegenics also had relocated to Atlanta not too long prior to me. So it was like around 2012, I moved to Atlanta, and that was around the same time that she had relocated here as well. So we're both in the same boat. Funny enough, she did my interview, she hired me, and we also became really great friends because we were in the same boat. She had some family members here, but we really didn't have any female friends. So we ended up doing a lot of things together, family gatherings. Her dad and I share the same birthday. She threw my baby shower for my daughter. And fast forward, as I continued to evolve my own personal development and she saw the change in me, she goes, I want what you have, and later became a one-on-one client who is still one of my clients today. So anyway, it's just so funny to me how full circle this has come from her hiring me, at Cenegenics and interviewing me, to us having a conversation. And, she attends retreats, and I've watched her really level up in her personal and business life as well. And Cenegenics behind all of this has been amazing. So I didn't need to be sold on the company when we started discussing brand partnerships because I knew the company. I had worked for the company. And the reason I stopped working for the company was to pursue my own thing, which I knew was my own type of coaching, which now is somatic leadership and holistic leadership and all of those things. And also I went on in the meantime during that whole, decade hiatus, if you will, from me coaching under the Cenegenics umbrella to have two of my kids. And I mentioned that Christy Berry, the CEO of Cenegenics, had my baby shower for my daughter. So anyway, there's all these interesting pieces at play and all these connective things. And, Christy and I, as we're working together, we are at retreats and we're, among other women that are also successful leaders and entrepreneurs and business owners and founders and CEOs and C-suite executives. And they're like, tell me more about Cenegenics. Tell me more about it. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, Cenegenics is awesome. And this is unprompted feedback because I genuinely believe in what Cenegenics does. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, they have their supplement line and they do this whole healthcare protocol and it's really amazing. And then I'm like, yeah, and I used to work for them. And this is the company that Christy has helped evolve and grow into what it is now. It's amazing. And so after that last retreat where that kind of organically unfolded, I go, I wonder if it makes sense for us to even chat about what a brand partnership might look like. And she goes, I think that's a great idea because of the women that you serve. And it already came up organically in conversation. Let's see what we can maybe create together. So we started talking about it. We had a brain dump session one day off the books outside of our coach client thing, outside of our friendship and all of that. And we're like, what could this really look like? What could this really look like to bring Cenegenics into the world through Elevate with Keri? And we got really, really, really jazzed about the opportunity to partner together. And I'm excited for several reasons because, as you know, I've recently gone through a breast explant surgery. I removed my breast implants. And so during all of this, it was like, gosh, this really feels so divinely orchestrated in that Cenegenics can help me detox from these implants. And through the implant process, through exploring all of these issues in my body that I didn't know at the time were related to my implants, I had a 3D mammogram, which they told me I was too young for because I was 38 when I had that and I'm 39 now. I started exploring my hormones because now I'm 39, I'm headed into 40, and I'm thinking, gosh, am I, perimenopausal? What's going on here? I'm tired all the time. I've got all these symptoms. I feel achy. I feel very foggy in my brain, which overlaps with a lot of those symptoms as well. And I started to, through process of elimination, realized that this is not an environmental thing. This is not a hormonal issue. And I actually feel like it's my implants. And so you guys know the story, those of you that have listened to any of my explant journey specific podcast episodes. And if you haven't listened to those, go back, listen to them. They're all labeled. It's like my explant journey part, whatever. I think we're on part 5 by now. But you can go back and you can listen in terms of what that process looked like for me and how it felt to discover that implants were actually the issue, which I 100% believe is true now on the other side of surgery because I have 0 neck pain now. But this was such an interesting time for this brand partnership to really come together. And I thought, okay, Cenegenics can help support me in my detox. And like, let's see what that looks like through this journey. But also, you guys know I've declared that I want to be in the best shape of my life by 40. That's in a half year from now. My birthday is July 4th, and that is almost to the day 6 months away, a half year away from this moment right now that I'm recording the podcast. So again, what better company to do that with and to be supported by than this whole concierge health team that does aging better? I mean, they redefine the aging process, and it just looks different when you're about to turn 40. There are different things at play. There's different factors. And I was thinking this the other day, but my body's a little bit more beat up now. I've been through 3 pregnancies, 1 miscarriage. I've gone through 5 years of fitness competitions and fitness modeling, which, yes, was still under the guise of health and all of that, but it was still very extreme and hard on my body. I'm an ex-gymnast, an ex-college cheerleader, ex-dancer, all things that are hard on my body as well. And what does my health look like now? And what does it look like in 10 years? I feel like even from where I sit now, 39 is very different than 49. I don't know about you, but that feels like a huge shift, a huge gap in terms of mindset too. To be almost 40 and to be almost 50, like those feel like 2 completely different seasons of life. And I know a decade is, a long time away. And also, is it? It's not that far. So I want to get a hold on my health now. And the more Christy and I started chatting about the opportunity to partner together, the more I was like, this just makes so much sense, not only for my personal health care selfishly, but also in the way that I coach holistic leadership. And especially now during the holidays, a lot of people are thinking about the new year coming, stress is higher. And I often will say, even though stress is getting high, your self-care needs to go up too, even though it's the first thing I know most of us just push off the table because it's like, I don't have time. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to eat well. I'll worry about that later. I'll worry about it in January. But then another month comes, another year comes, and nothing's changed. So I want to do holistic leadership. And this component is not, it can't be left out. It's incomplete without this piece, especially if you're in higher levels of leadership. I was actually having a conversation with my friend Leanne, who I spoke at her Rich Queen event recently, and we were talking about how when you're at a higher level of success, you don't have time to get sick. In fact, it's more important that your self-care go up because you need to be at optimal peak performance, optimal cognitive function, even with this brand partnership, right? To be on my A game, to be able to record these podcasts, to be able to come up with creative content and deliver it in this schedule. And this isn't the only thing I've got going on. I have clients and retreats and group programs and one-on-one containers and all of these things going on. I'm a mom, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm buying land right now as an investment. There's a lot of things that make up this whole foundation of who I be as a leader and how I show up in life, not just business. It's everything. And if I'm running around with my hair on fire and on the brink of burnout, I am not leading well. I am not staying in what I call the 1% woman zone. Now, it's unrealistic for us to stay there all the time because we're human and we have capacities and there's different seasons to all of this. But can we do a little bit better to prioritize our self-care and know that rest is a money-making activity, that rest is productive, that we need time to relax, to connect to the vision because that returns us to it, and stress instead takes us away and contracts the vision, yeah, I need those reminders too. So this whole piece, Cenegenics, health, alternative, leadership and vision around that has to be part of it in order to operate at higher levels of success. There are many people at different levels of success that talk about, cold showers, which I do believe in, and getting up at 5 a.m. and doing all these things. But one thing you'll notice is that with whether their, morning routine includes cold showers or journaling or meditation or whatever, what they do have in common is that there is some sort of discipline and practice to connect and pour into themselves rather than go out into the world and serve first, right? They've got to serve from a full cup. And so this whole Cenegenics brand partnership is I'm so excited. In fact, a couple years ago, before I was even coaching with Christy, I said to Rudy in a text, we should discuss potentially partnering together. And at the time, they were undergoing some transition. They were up-leveling their marketing. They were rebranding. They were repackaging their supplement line, which I'll talk about in a second. But they were in the midst of transition. It wasn't really a conversation that could even be entertained at the time. But now they're in this position where they are really ready to offer their top tier services at a more accelerated rate to people that are ready to take their health to the next level. And I'm so excited to officially announce that Cenegenics and I have become brand partners. And it's been a decade in the making. Maybe more. Maybe it's since like 5th grade. Who knew? But I'm really excited for a few reasons. And one of them is what Cenegenics stands for, right? It's not about denying the fact that we're aging. It's about learning how to redefine aging so you don't feel whatever age, fill in the blank, right? I'm still the mom that rolls up to the carpool with a crop top in my Mercedes-Benz and my all-star sneakers on. Like, you guys heard me, fuck a minivan, like all that on my other podcast. I'm not like the other moms. I don't want to be. I don't want to buy into the norm that, I'm 50 and that's just what happens when you're 50, or I'm going to be 40 and I need to accept that this is how my body's going to be. I'm going to be achy. I'm going to be tired. It's just what comes with the territory. I don't subscribe to that. And I'm going to guess that you don't either. So if you are like me and you want to take your health to the next level because you know that taking your health to the next level is going to help you take your leadership to the next level, then I'm going to share a little bit more about Cenegenics.
This episode is presented by Journey to Financial Freedom.
Ladies in leadership, take note. Are financial obstacles dimming your sparkle? It's time to heal your money story because a true visionary can't fully soar when they're weighed down by financial uncertainty. Say hello to Journey to Financial Freedom. JFF isn't just about spreadsheets and dollar signs. They cater to women just like us, the trailblazers, the game changers, the women who are destined for greatness. It's why I signed up with them. They help make financial intricacies clear so you can stay focused on your vision. They merge smart financial strategies with an intuitive emotional understanding, reshaping exactly how you see your wealth and your worth. They recognize that our financial narratives run deep, and when they don't align with our ambitions, they simply become barriers. JFF is offering listeners a free strategy call using the link in the show notes below, so make sure you schedule that today. So, I want to share with you specifically about what this looks like when you become an elite member, elite client of Cenegenics, like I am now, which is so cool. So they flew me to Miami, and you guys saw I had a top secret trip for this process. I think it was last week I posted on my stories, and now I can finally share what the fuck I was doing in Miami. So they flew me to Miami for a day-long personal health assessment, the PHA. It was so cool, you guys, because what was really fun was knowing that I had been the one administering these before for patients. It was a 6-hour process. It's still about that long, but now they've refined it. It's even better. I don't know if that's possible, but it is. So they have a few pieces of technology that they use that are brand specific to Cenegenics that are part of this entire process. The first thing before I actually even flew to Miami was they had a phlebotomist come to my house, because this is concierge medicine, right? It is alternative healthcare, which means it's not covered by insurance. But let's be honest, like, I don't really want what insurance is telling me to, that I'm covered by. They didn't even want me to do a mammogram, and I knew that I needed it for like peace of mind with my implants, for example. So this is alternative healthcare, right? It's not covered by insurance, but you are making an investment in your health. And so they have a phlebotomist come to your house and take blood work. And from this blood work, they pulled 92 biomarkers. That's an insane amount of things. You want to know how this conversation went differently? Through the insurance company that I have. So when I was exploring hormones and asking my doctor through my insurance, like, hey, I think I would like to get a hormone panel pulled. He said to me, I don't know what the point of that is or what that's going to show us. What? That's crazy to me to be questioned like that. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I've worked in healthcare myself for many years. And, call me crazy, but hormones are sort of the inner dashboard of the body. So that was bizarre to me. He actually even said, I don't know if it would be worth us charging you extra for you to even have this done, because I don't know what it's going to show us. I'm like, well, what are my hormones saying? I mean, don't we need to know if there are markers there that could indicate I'm perimenopausal or that there's an issue? Because I don't feel right. I feel off. Anyway, complete opposite experience at Cenegenics. I was so excited. I think it was like 4 pages long of biomarkers that my doctor went over with me at my personal health assessment. And we went through everything. I mean, inflammation, my hormones, my current levels. I had a full picture on my health, not only a snapshot for where I am right now, but what's possible for me when we adjust certain things through supplementation, for example. So they also put me on a very specific supplementation protocol based on detoxing from my breast implants, which exposed me to silicone for the past 7 years. Because as you know, I've shared with you before, it's not just the silicone that leaks in your body if the implant is ruptured. It also leaks from the implant shell itself, the silicone shell. All implants are made from silicone. And so it's really important to me that I'm detoxing actively from this. In addition, we noticed certain levels could benefit from supplementation, vitamin D and vitamin B specifically. So that, of course, is going to help with my energy levels. And I'm actually drinking right now in my really cute Serenbe cup from my glass from our retreat, their Accelerate supplement. And that actually is part of the blend of vitamin B, and it replaces my Element supplement. So LMNT is a sodium supplement that I was taking. It helps you with, electrolytes and making sure you're staying hydrated. This does that, plus it has vitamin B, and I like the taste, and it's like a little effervescent. It tastes like raspberry. It's delicious, actually. So I have that every morning. So I get my own supplementation protocol. But once I got in the office, here's what's cool. I have a team of 3 people supporting me. I've got my own personal doctor. I've got my own personal health coach, which I was very familiar with that role, having been in that seat before. And then I've got the client concierge director who is facilitating things like everything from the day, here's how this is going to work. Here's how you get signed up on the app. Here's where you're going to access your labs. And, welcome to the building, Miss Ford. Here is the penthouse. Let us walk you up the stairs. And what would you like for lunch? That's what the client concierge director is handling. Everything soup to nuts, really making sure that I feel taken care of, that I understand how things work. They are coordinating everything, so I don't have to worry about anything. They coordinated all the stuff, the phlebotomist and my flight, and just really making me feel seen. I even had text access. So that was very cool. So upon greeting me, they saw me up to the penthouse, and they showed me my VIP suite, which you get a private room with your own locker. There's snacks. There's a whole refrigerator waiting for you with protein shakes and protein bars. They had Quest bars and Pellegrino and just yummy, healthy stuff. And then I met my health coach, Tamia, and she is so cute and so vibrant, and I really enjoyed her guidance throughout the day. In addition to Tamia, because this is a brand new headquartered space in Miami, we met with Marcos. Marcos is also, he's a senior healthcare health coach, and he's been with the company for more than 5 years. And so he was overseeing the entire process at the Miami headquarters. And both of them together were just super knowledgeable. So we started with this technology called the Wavy. And I'm going to wait till I show you clips of this because I looked insane. My hair, as you know, is curly, and I have a lot of hair. I have very thick, curly, crazy hair. And so I've got to put this head thing on. They're like, well, we're going to have to put these sensors on your head and like move your hair out of the way. And so, you have to wet your earlobes, and the sensors have to communicate through the moisture onto your brain. And what it detects is your brain reactivity, your brain age, your brain health, because even though I'm 39, my brain actually tested at 41, which I was like, ooh, that's incentive for me to stay sharp and to figure out how I can challenge my brain. There's something to this. And so that gave us some really cool information. We went through a series of sound tests and reactivity tests, and then they were just simply seeing how my brain responded to certain stimuli. So that was incredible. Then we moved into the DEXA scan. The DEXA scan is one of the coolest things. It's a, how do I describe it? You're laying on a bed. It does have radiation it uses to help read things because it's reading very important things like your bone mineral density, specifically in 3 different areas, like I talked about, with your lower back, for example, and your hips and your femurs. Those are the 3 areas that you're most at risk to injure as you get older, right? How many of us, and myself included, have had a grandparent that fell from they slipped and they broke their hip, and then they never really returned or recovered fully after that injury. That happened with 2 of my grandparents, actually, and it was so sad to witness the decline. But had they had better balance, or had they had better coordination or flexibility or strength or even bone mineral density, like let's say the fall happened, but their bone mineral density was up enough, then they wouldn't have broken that bone at all. So it's really important. This is how they identify the precursor osteopenia to osteoporosis. So that was interesting because my bone mineral density can stand for improvement, which I knew because I haven't been consistent with workouts. And because I haven't been consistent with workouts and my resistance training, therefore I was a little lower than I wanted to be in the bone mineral density. So there's that. There is the android fat, which is the fat in and around the organs, which is very important to see if you're at high risk for heart attack. These are my words, but you'll see somebody who's very fit go out for a run or be very active, and then all of a sudden they have a heart attack, and you're like, well, where did that come from? My understanding of android fat is that you can look really good on the outside, but internally, if you've got clogged arteries and you're genetically predisposed to have plaque in the arteries, and this android fat is quite dense around your organs, it makes it very hard for them to do their job appropriately, and it does put you at a higher risk for cardiovascular disease and other complications there. So we need to know, that ratio. We also need to know what's what. So as I continue down this healthcare journey and I lose weight or I gain weight, what am I gaining? What am I losing? Is it muscle or is it fat? Obviously, we don't want to lose muscle. We want to hold on to that, but we want to lose fat. And so when I lose 3 pounds, if we do the DEXA scan again, we'll be able to see literally this whole full body scan of what is what. What is blood and water and tissue and organs in my body versus what is bones and what is muscle. And it will show you down to the 10th of a percentage exactly what is what. So you're not talking about, I lost 3 pounds and hopefully it was muscle or hopefully it was fat. When you look at this DEXA scan, this is in fact what is going on in my body. And this is what I want to work toward. And then we get a new baseline, with every snapshot that we do. So that's pretty cool. That's actually been a standard with them for a while. Gosh, what else did we do? I'm trying to cover all of the many things. Oh, we did this like brain test, and I'm forgetting exactly the name of it, but it was 25 minutes long. It felt like longer. My eyes felt crossed after, but it tests additional brain reactivity, your memory, your visual connection to things. So the tests are everything from, you have 2 minutes to do this exercise. Let's do a practice round. Think of like those brain games you see ads for on Instagram. Or maybe it's just me seeing those because now they're like, she's almost 40 and this bitch needs some like, brain health stuff. She needs like crossword puzzles. I don't know. But they do this whole test that takes 25 minutes, and it is cognitively exhausting, but it gives a baseline on where your brain is at in terms of, again, reactivity, sound, visual, everything, like memory, all the stuff. And, you're having to memorize shapes and words, and that was very interesting. I haven't seen the results for that yet, but I will be fascinated to know how that comes into play with the Wavy technology, which was the brain scan where my brain age was 41. Again, not alarming, but a little bit like, I don't want my brain to be 41. I'm 39. So there was that we did. I couldn't do all of the physical testing and assessment stuff simply because I'm healing from surgery and I couldn't put weight on my arms, such as push-ups and things like that. But we did do a balance test. You do a balance test with your eyes closed. Again, you want to test your risk exposure, if you will, for things like falling, and then if you fall, what is your bone mineral density, like I talked about earlier? So we did things like that. We did a sit-ups test, and then we did, and I had never done this before, a VO2 max test. This is testing my lung capacity and my heart efficiency to see how healthy my heart is under stress. Does my heart rate return to some sort of normalcy after it's under stress, high level of stress, physical exertion? What does it look like, with my lungs capacity to uptake, to intake oxygen, right? Life force energy. And I talk about this in breath work, those of you that have attended retreats with me. So my ability to bring in oxygen, and then my heart's ability to pump that out into my body efficiently and effectively. So it's testing this entire time, and you do it on a bike with it's kind of a scary, but a mask that takes up and covers your mouth, your nose. It has a big breathing tube. And the point is to go to failure. It's to go to your max capacity so that they can read what your max capacity is. What is your max heart rate? Yours, not based on some standardized scientific like X minus Z equals, V. It's not based on that. It's based on your body, your test, your numbers, right? Your oxygen intake, your efficiency of your heart, and your recovery after the fact. I think that whole test took maybe, it was like 9 minutes. Around minute 4.5, 5, I started to feel very heavy breathing and I was approaching failure. And around 6.5 minutes in, because the resistance increases, incrementally every minute, I started to feel like, okay, I'm tapping out and here's where I can hold this. And that was really cool actually to see that, even though I felt completely out of shape, given that I haven't worked out consistently. And there were some really, really incentivizing things that we discovered from that test, which was my recovery is great, right? You want to drop your heart rate about 12 beats per minute post-workout. And I did that. My body did that well. My heart's ability to pump efficiently and reveal that it was strong was also great. I would love to get my conditioning back up, but that will come with time. So this helps my health coach now, my healthcare team, put together a protocol. So all these tests, this personal health assessment, which is a full VIP elite day experience, and it was a beautiful facility too, by the way, in the penthouse. I got to come away with, my physical with the doctor, a personal supplementation protocol based on my blood lab, my 92 biomarkers, and then my physical assessment and all of the other technology that's very advanced that they're taking into account to come up with this cohesive plan for me, my body, and the next 5 to 10 years. This isn't just a 3-week, 6-month, 90-day, 75 hard BS thing. This is, what does your healthcare look like as you age and get into the next decade? Like, where do we want to go from here based on your current snapshot? And based on your current snapshot, what is that revealing around what your next decade could look like if you don't do something? And that for me was really important because my brain age was older than I am. I know that I have room for improvement on conditioning. My bone mineral density was decreased and osteoporosis does run in my family. And there were definitely places in my body that were saying, hey, we need supplementation. We need to shift the diet here. And I still eat very intuitively, but there were definitely things through their specific pharmaceutical grade. They have like a whole line of supplements that they can help me with through personal supplementation. So we're doing that, and we're doing something new that I've never done before, which is peptide therapy. There's a lot of controversy around peptide therapy. I'll get into more of that later on another episode. I feel like it's a whole thing, and I really just feel like I need to experience it a little bit more before I give any insight into it. But again, this plays into how old am I right now? How do I want to feel in 5 years, in 10 years? And what does my current snapshot reveal to me around this potential trajectory if we don't change anything? And so I think there's a cost to everything, honestly. There is a cost to not paying attention to our health and sitting in the seat of reactivity. I don't want to sit in the seat of reactivity. I don't want to wait and find out what it feels like to have my brain age faster than my actual biological age. I don't want to wait and find out what it feels like if I did maybe fall because my bone mineral density has decreased and I didn't know anything about it. I don't want to be reactive. I want to be proactive. And I know that this is only going to benefit my level of leadership and all of the things I've got going on. In the past 8 weeks, there have been insane up levels in my personal and business life. And the only reason I believe that I have been able to hold it and hold it well is because I focus so much on the somatics and the self-care that it requires of me to hold that capacity. I don't have time to get sick. I don't have time to be burned out. I don't have time to be foggy brained, right? And at the same time, I don't always want to feel like I don't have time. I want to have space to expand. I want to be fully present. I don't want to be chaotic all the time. I don't want to fill every minute on my calendar. I want to enjoy the time I've set aside to relax and actually fucking relax. I want to actually relax. So I've said a lot of things. I'm sure I'll remember more things, but don't worry. There's more to come. I'll share more about my personal health assessment. I'm going to share more about the supplements that I'm on and how I see those showing up in shifts in my health and my energy, my peak performance and the ways that I'm using that in leadership. But I'm in the very beginning stages of this new protocol and I'm so excited. And I'm honestly just super fucking grateful. Like Cenegenics is such a great brand. So that being said, I'm going to leave in the show notes a link if you want to go and have a personal health assessment yourself. They're actually offering 20% off right now if you use my link, which is really generous. They actually just shared with me that they were offering that, and I was like, that's super generous. So they're offering 20% off right now of a personal health assessment if you want to go through the same experience that I went through, and you're like, yeah, you know what? My self-care and my health can use a little love right now, but it's beyond the basics. This is like concierge VIP treatment times 10. They're using technology that some people have never even heard of in their assessments. And it's not to just give you a snapshot of like, hey, here's what's going on now. It's to help you age better and to redefine how that looks for you and feels for you altogether. So I'm going to leave that in the show notes and you can check that out. And you're going to hear a lot more about Cenegenics on my feed and in our content because again, success is holistic. Holistic, meaning a 360 lens, health, wealth, relationships. It's not just how much money we make. It's not just how successful we are on paper. It's, do I feel successful Am I healthy? Without my health, I can't even do any of that. So again, this is about me being proactive, not reactive. And I'm so excited to share this experience with you guys. Not only just for you to witness me in it, but also if you want to take advantage of this opportunity as well. So check that out in the show notes. I'm excited. And I probably said that 18 times because I genuinely am. And yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. You can shoot us a DM over at Literally First Class. Let me know if this was helpful, if this was valuable. Share it, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode.
This episode is presented by Cenegenics.
I recently partnered with the leader in the performance health age management industry, Cenegenics. Today's healthcare system is made to treat people with health problems, not prevent them. And that is where Cenegenics comes in. They are the world's best age management health solution, fueled by sophisticated data, advanced technology like the Brainwavy and the DEXA scan I mentioned, and metabolic science. This is for busy women at the peak of their career who also want to achieve peak performance, both cognitively and physically, using a physician-led program that is completely custom to your history, biomarkers, and needs. They've helped more than 49,000 executives, just like me and you, elevate health, reduce stress, and optimize body composition. So we not only look good, but we feel good at any age and any level of leadership. As a brand partner, Cenegenics is offering listeners a free 10-minute consultation to see if the Performance Health program is your next step in elite health. Use my link below in the show notes to book.
I hope you enjoyed your flight, and I'll see you on board again soon.
Seriously though, thanks for listening. If you're ready to take this work deeper and upgrade your mind, I want to invite you to join us inside my Millionaire Mindset program. This is where you'll start using my guided meditations to help you overcome anxiety and experience even more abundance. When you join, you'll have access to my entire audio library. Head over to elevatewithkeri.com and we'll see you inside.